We'll take the next question from the sister side.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam.
My question is, the people who revert to
Sister,
Islam,
your educational background or your profession, please.
I am a BA second year student of psychology. My question is, the people who revert to Islam, is it because it is already destined for them, or it is their good and righteous deeds for which they are given hidayat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept Islam?
Can you please repeat the second part of your question?
Or it is their good and righteous deeds for which they are given hidayat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept Islam?
If a non-Muslim reverts to Islam, she would like to know that is it a time appointed by Allah, so therefore they have reverted to Islam, or is it that it is because of their good deeds that Allah made them a Muslim? How does it happen? If you observe the second part, you will find there were many non-Muslims at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who had fought against Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fighting against Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not a good deed. For example, Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was the commander of the non-Muslim army, but he became a Muslim. That does not mean that because of his good deeds, one of the deed is so severe that he is fighting against Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is a great sin, grave sin. So this means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he wills to give hidayat to somebody, it is a pure decision of Allah based upon certain criteria which except Allah nobody knows. If we come to know what is the criteria by which Allah gives the hidayat, then we don't need to do dawah. We can straight go. Why do we need to work so hard to the non-Muslims to make them Muslims? We will go to them, we will say this is the criteria, okay, you work on this, they will become a Muslim. The criteria on which Allah gives the hidayat, except Allah nobody knows. But once a non-Muslim, he reverted to Islam at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came to beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I have embraced Islam now, but before embracing Islam, I used to do good deeds. Will Allah reward me for those good deeds? The beloved Prophet ﷺ gave the reply to this particular individual and he said, it is the reward of your good deeds that Allah gave you the hidayat for Islam. Meaning, according to the second part of your question, this can also happen to some people. Allah may give hidayat to some of the non-Muslims based on the good deeds they are doing as non-Muslims. But that is not for everybody. Because another non-Muslim came to Muhammad ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I have embraced Islam, but before Islam I used to do good deeds. And I used to even commit some sins. Will Allah punish me for the sins and give me the reward for the good deeds? The beloved Prophet ﷺ replied and he said, for the sins that you made, Allah has forgiven them for you when you embrace Islam. For the good deeds that you used to do, Allah will reward those good deeds as He will reward the good deeds after you have become a Muslim. Meaning for this particular individual, the Messenger ﷺ gave another condition. So based on this, why Allah gives hidayat to somebody except Allah nobody knows. What is the criteria except Allah nobody knows. Because Allah knows the hearts in our body. Allah can read the minds of the human beings, which we cannot. We can only give a judgment about a human being based upon our experience and the observation. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not confined with certain principles and scales that he needs to observe somebody, he needs to experience somebody, and then he knows whether he is good or bad. Allah knows, he is Al-Alim. He has the perfect knowledge of the unseen, complete knowledge of the unseen. So how Allah gives the hidayat to any non-Muslim except Allah nobody knows. But that was a very good question, because for some non-Muslims it can be the good deeds of the non-Muslims that they can get the hidayat, and even if they get the hidayat with their good deeds, that was the part of their destiny. That was the time appointed by Allah to give them the hidayat, and Allah gave the hidayat to them. I hope I answered that question.